makes the grab. Oh, he got there. Are you kidding me? You are kidding me. All the way to the end zone, and what a catch. This is a special sport, I'll tell you.
Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Frisbee Association. My name is Evan Lepler, and I'll be your guide to the incredible world of Ultimate Frisbee. If you're tuning in, you've probably at least thrown a backhand or seen the allure of a picture-perfect layout. We'd like to take you further on your Frisbee journey through this series of videos and explain some of the game's basics, history, and stories that make this sport so special. Now let's start with the basics. Ultimate is played on an American football field. It's 7-on-7 with two 20-yard end zones sandwiching an 80-yard space where all players can move in any direction. Every point starts with a pull, basically the throw off to initiate play, and from there the point continues until one team scores by completing a pass into the opponent's end zone. The most simple rule of Ultimate is that during play, person with a Frisbee can't run with it. They can pass it in any length and in any direction, but when the disc is caught, the new thrower sets a pivot foot, and then if there's a mark nearby, has 7 seconds to throw. The mark is the defender who's guarding the thrower, and they'll often angle their body in a certain direction to try to force a thrower to aim for a certain space on the field. That's called a force, but the best throwers can maneuver the disc through or around the mark in what's often referred to as a break throw. As play progresses, if a throw hits the ground, goes out of bounds, or is intercepted, defense immediately becomes the offense without any stoppage of play, and this creates constant pace and often leads to thrilling swings of momentum at a moment's notice.
Minnesota turfed it. Carolina ties it up. Can you believe it?
There are many different ways to throw a Frisbee, but in the UFA, you'll generally see one of 4 throws. Two most basic throws are the backhand, which is the most common, especially for beginners, and the forehand, which is commonly called a flick. And being able to effectively throw both backhands and forehands is what enables a handler to find a throwing lane, using their pivot to create some space against the mark, and ultimately connect with a teammate. Next 2 throws are slightly more advanced. The hammer is an over-the-top throw, typically using a flick grip, which can soar and helix over defenders to drop into a specific spot downfield. There's also a scoober, which, like the hammer, uses the forehand grip, but the scoober is often a little flatter, thrown from more across your body, while the hammer is more of an overhead toss. Now, there are a bunch of variations to all these throws. 2018 UFA MVP Roland McDonald actually has a YouTube video with 100 different ways to throw a Frisbee. But if you can just be familiar with these 4, the backhand, the forehand, the hammer, and the scoober, you'll be well on your way. Generally, offenses are broken down into handlers and cutters, with the handlers usually the ones who are picking up the Frisbee and serving as the parallel or backfield resets, and the cutters align downfield with the purpose of creating organized space to gain yardage and move the disc towards scoring. Traditionally, offensive plays involve 4 or 5 cutters, starting what's called a stack, usually a vertical stack or a horizontal stack, sometimes a split stack. Whatever it is, all of these strategies are based upon one relatively simple premise: the idea of creating open space for speedy cutters to attack. And for receivers catching the disc near the sideline or in the back of the end zone, important to know, you only need 1 foot in bounds to make the catch. It's the first point of contact with the ground, though, that determines whether you are either in or out. Now, the offense does have a decent advantage in the general flow of the game. When the offense converts a score, which good teams do about 65 to 70% of the time, it's called a hold. When the offense turns the disc over, though, it's a break opportunity for the defense. And if the team can score after starting the point on D, that's a break. And breaks are big moments in games usually. After all, the team that converts the most breaks is the team that usually wins.
Speechless at the start for the Flyers. Playing to the end zone. Finds Noah Hansen. 3-0 Minnesota.
Traditionally, Ultimate is a self-officiated sport governed largely by the concept known as spirit of the game, with players making their own calls on the field. The UFA is the only Frisbee league, though, that utilizes referees to call fouls and keep things moving. But spirit is still very present, even at the pro level, particularly with the use of the integrity rule. It's a call that players can invoke if they feel the refs gave them a call they didn't deserve. For instance, if a foul is called on the defender as they get a block and the offensive player believes it was clean and a good D, the offense can use the integrity rule to say no foul. Other team would immediately take over possession. Aside from the use of refs, another notable innovation in the UFA is that double teams are legal. Outside of pro, you're not allowed to have two defenders guarding the thrower simultaneously, but in the UFA, double teams are fair game. This adds complexity to both defensive strategy and the options that are available to the thrower. UFA games consist of 4 12-minute quarters, and end-of-quarter situations always loom large in close games. One of the reasons why Jeff Babbitt is a 2-time league MVP is his unbelievable ability to use his size, his athleticism, his exceptional timing and instincts to deliver game-changing scores and blocks in these buzzer-beating moments.
Tanner Johnson floats into the end zone. It's a battle at the buzzer, and you better believe Jeff Babbitt lives for the moment. He's got it with 4 seconds to go.
Hope this video gives you a better understanding of some of the basics in our sport. You can watch more highlights and learn more information right here on the UFA YouTube page. And don't forget to check out watchufa.tv to see all games both live and on demand. Until next time, I'm Evan Lepler. Thanks for watching.